It's official, Aqara is finally launching some of their products elsewhere other than on Amazon and on their own website. And that somewhere else is none other than Best Buy. Now, this new partnership is significant for a few different reasons. Number one, this is hopefully the first step to getting some of their products into more physical brick and mortar retail locations. And optimistically, I'm kind of hoping that this is more of their long-term goal so that customers like myself who prefer a more hands-on experience has a chance to do so before purchasing a product. Then reason number two is good for the smart home industry as a whole, especially users of Apple Home. Almost anyone can sign up and sell their products on Amazon. In fact, there's over 9.7 million sellers on Amazon, whereas being on a site like Best Buy that only allows top-rated sellers will only enhance the brand's credibility. It also has the potential to expose these products to new audiences, which will likely lead to growing the brand and in turn, both the Aqara and Apple Home platforms, providing new and innovative smart home products to its end users. To celebrate this launch, Aqara sent me out one of their Best Buy products, the Apple HomeKey-enabled U100 starter kit that includes their Zigbee E1 hub. But on top of doing a dedicated review video solely focused on this smart lock, I wanted to do a video that highlighted the majority of their entire lineup and how well the ecosystem of Aqara devices work together to enhance your Apple Home experience. Let me elaborate on that a little bit more. One of the real advantages to integrating Aqara devices into your smart home has to be the diverse and expansive assortment of smart home solutions that seamlessly integrate with the Apple Home ecosystem. From motion to presence sensors, to innovative lighting solutions, comprehensive security systems, high-quality cameras, doorbells, secure door locks, and so much more that caters to basically every aspect of your smart living needs to have a fully connected home. The star of today's show is Aqara's U100 Smart Lock. If you have a smart home and you're not using a smart lock, then I hate to break it to you, but you're missing out. And to be honest, so was I for the longest time. For the past few years, I've been using the Quickset Premise, and it did work with Apple Home, but in the year 2024, it was time to upgrade to something that had a few more features to it. Like I said previously, this is the Smart Lock Kit, so it does come with a few extras. Inside the box, you get the Aqara E1 hub, 2 NFC key fobs, the lock itself, which kind of has this space gray color going on, and right off the bat you can tell how well this thing was made from a material standpoint. It's got some really nice weight to it, and it feels like it was built to last. Then you get your physical keys, 4 AA batteries to power it, all your mounting hardware and accessories, and then lastly, your user manual and a really convenient measuring guide. Setup is relatively easy as well. Once you get your old lock off, you can follow the simple step-by-step instructions in the Aqara app to not only figure out the distance between the center of the door lock opening and the edge of the door, but how to install the latch plate, attach the outer panel, the indoor panel, and how to install the batteries and attach the data cable. The last phase to complete the setup is to pair it with the Aqara app itself, setting up your initial passcode, and then binding it to your hub. Now, I do have multiple Aqara hubs in the house, including this M1S hub right by the front door for all of my door and window sensors, but for the purpose of showing the full range of this kit, I'm going to be pairing it to the included E1 hub. Now that everything's set up in the Aqara app, we can move on to setting it up in the Apple Home app, which is just as simple. Tap the Add Accessory button, and then you can scan the HomeKit code found underneath the panel next to the batteries. Now what adds an exciting dimension to this smart lock is the multiple different options available for controlling this lock. While it does come with traditional physical keys intended for backup or even emergency situations, what's really cool is the 6 distinct technological methods that's at our disposal to lock and open the door. The first way is to use the keypad to enter a 6-digit code that you would have created during setup. Now, this is going to be real useful if you ever need to assign a one-time passcode to a visitor for some odd reason, or actually in the Apple Home app, you can add a permanent guest that'll give them access to the lock, but restrict everything else in the home. Secondly, you can always find and use the item in the Home app on any of your Apple devices and press or slide the lock. Now this is a great way to do it if you're not close by to hear or physically see the lock close, as the app will give you a visual cue to verify that it's actually locked. And then the third way is pretty straightforward, and that's to use a voice assistant like Siri on your HomePod or your iPhone. The next way is using biometrics. There's actually a fingerprint scanner on the outside panel that'll let you gain access to your house at a touch of a finger. This can be configured to any one of your fingers in the Aqara app with an accuracy rate of over 98%, and it can store up to 50 different prints. I can see this being a great way to get in when maybe you have a bunch of grocery bags in your arms and you really can't get into your pockets to grab your phone. Then the fifth way is through automations. Automations are a great way to control any of your smart home devices without really ever having to think about it a whole lot, whether it's triggered by the time of day or by some other action in your smart home that triggers it. Now, there's two simple ways that I was able to incorporate automations into this smart lock on day one. And the first of those was a pretty straightforward way, and that's telling it to lock once the last person leaves home. It's very simple to set up. It's just a slider right there in the settings of your Apple Home app. Another automation I set up for this lock is actually one that I already had in place, and it includes the Aqara smart button that I have right by my front door that arms my security system on the way out. Now this is just another quick and simple way to do it without having to pull your phone out, and there is a little bit of delay that gives you just enough time to close the door behind you before the lock engages. Then the ultimate game changer and the primary reason I was excited to upgrade, the Apple Home Key. Now this feature allows you to effortlessly lock and unlock the door by simply tapping your phone or watch to the exterior panel. Operating on NFC technology, it stores a virtual card in your Apple Wallet, which can be easily shared with anyone in the household. Now surprisingly, I find myself using this feature the most, especially with my Apple Watch Ultra always on my wrist. It's not only the simplest, but also the most enjoyable. And then let's not forget about the two key fobs that come with this kit that utilize the same NFC technology. These are perfect for providing access to extended family members, for childcare purposes or something like that, or ideal for those within the household who may not be Apple users. Now let's talk about the intangibles, the qualities that go beyond the physical features and define what this smart lock can really do. This is one area that Aqara always seemed to excel in. For example, back in the Aqara app, you have a log that can be used to see when the door was locked and what method was used to do so. You can even filter it down by each individual day. You can generate one-time passcodes that expire immediately after use, set up auto locking so after you enter or leave the residence, it'll automatically lock after the selected time frame, or the fact that you can control the status of the door right from the video stream of the Aqara G4 doorbell, and so much more. And with this lock utilizing the Zigbee protocol, you should see up to 8 months of battery life before having to think about swapping batteries. Now obviously I haven't had this lock long enough to be able to tell you for sure or not if that's an accurate number. I will say that when the Aqara G4 was put out, some of those numbers that came with it were pretty accurate compared to what they were claiming. And another cool feature that I want to mention real quick is that if by chance you are ever away from home and the door lock does die and you don't have your physical keys with you or another way to gain entrance into the residence, there is a built-in emergency USB-C port on the outer panel that'll give the unit power long enough for you to get in. Then on top of all that, there's just so many different directions you could go in terms of incorporating this device into your automations. You could set up, smart buttons to control the lock anywhere throughout the house or on your nightstand. You could include it in any of your nighttime or sleep mode scenes in HomeKit. I can set up one side of my, currently underutilized Aqara Cube to trigger it to lock, or even use the Aqara FP2 presence sensor as a failsafe to lock the door if presence isn't detected. These intangibles encapsulate the essence of a smart lock that not only elevates security, but also integrates into the fabric of your daily routine. Now let's talk about why I think Aqara is a big player for the future of Apple smart home users, and why now is probably a good time to start experimenting with their ecosystem if you haven't done so already. Aqara sets itself apart by not only providing cutting-edge technology, but by really making a commitment to its users that they're going to continue to support their products. I think time and time again, they've really showcased and demonstrated this with ongoing support through, regular software updates that not only fix known bug issues, but, even add new features, and that's huge for me. What makes Aqara a wise investment is this forward-thinking approach. They're actively future-proofing their devices by embracing Matter, the new smart home standard, which means, your purchases aren't just an investment in today, but a commitment to the long haul by staying ahead of the curve. As the smart home, industry continues to evolve, Aqara is really positioning itself as a reliable partner, ensuring compatibility and longevity in a rapidly advancing and changing landscape. If you'd like to get started in building or even adding to your ecosystem of Aqara devices, there's a few different ways to do so. Like I mentioned earlier, they're now offered through Best Buy. You can go direct through Aqara themselves, or my personal favorite with the quickest shipping times is Amazon. And I'll have links to all three of those down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.